This is a Ford 2100 two-barrel carburetor. They also make a 2150, which few minor differences. 4100 is the same thing, only the 4-barrel. You already know that because why are you watching this video if you don't have one, right? Okay, so this little jewel here, some people think they're worth their weight in gold. Others, it's just a dumb carburetor. I got this for $13 at the swap meet because it's just a dumb carburetor. Fortunately, this one has a tag on it, and I can tell it's a C8TF, and the C means it's 1960s, 8 means 1968, and T is truck and F is probably engine part. Anyway, it's off a, comes to find out, it's off a 360 V8. It's a decent carb. The only complaint I have over the Holleys is the power valve down here, is you have to take the whole carburetor off every time you change a power valve. Now granted, you don't change a power valve that often, but when you need to, I mean, if you're eventually or initially dialing it in, then it's a royal pain in the butt to do. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to make it, well, the big problem with these carburetors is you can't find jets for them. At least I haven't had much luck on them. And it's really close. I got lucky with it, and the truck runs fine, but it's just that much not right. So I'd like to be able to adjust the jets and fine tune it so it works great for me. But like I said, I can't find them, and when you do, they're $1 million and they're not the size you want. Here's what we're talking about. Okay, this is a Ford jet, and it's a Holley jet. The Ford jet is a 5/16 thread, the Holley's a 1/4 inch. So what I'm going to do is show you how to make an adapter, or adapt the carburetor, so we can use Holley jets. Ford and Holley uses about the same numbers, at least that's what I found sticking drills down them, number drills, and they seem to be pretty close correlation. So initially you can kind of, if this was a 56 jet, you could probably run a 56 or 58 Holley and be in the ballpark, and then fine tune it from that. Anyway, what we're going to do is disassemble the carb and kind of go through the motions here and show you what we need to do to make that happen. Well, it's pretty easy. Tear these guys apart, pull out the main stud. You got 4 screws on the 2-barrel, and yank that out. Throw in a little container so you don't lose them, because it's so easy to lose parts. So we're not going to do that. And get in there. This was a vent, which I didn't like, because it just vents to atmosphere. That's kind of a no-no. And these guys here vent to the float bowl too. We just go in the air cleaner and say, well, why do we need this one if we got these guys? And I've been running it for a while. It doesn't seem to make any difference, so I just plugged it off. So a trick I did though on this guy, this is a manual choke model obviously, is the lever or the rod here is long, and you have to disassemble the entire mechanism to get it out. So what I did is, I made a mess. Oh, come on. There we are. Is I cut this guy down a bit, and that way it comes out of the sleeve here, but when it's in operation it's still plenty engaged, so it works fine. But that way I can just pop the top cover off and not have to disassemble anymore, and I have to. This little guy, in case you're interested, is a throttle position sensor. I'm running a 4R70W automatic behind my engine, and it's electronically controlled. You need a TPMS, or I mean a TPS, to tell the tranny what to do, to tell the smart box to tell the tranny what to do. Just in case anybody wants to copy this, this is off a 1985 Bronco 2 with a 2.8 V6 engine in it. It goes all the way through. It has a different mount than all the other throttle position sensors that Ford has. Just my choice, because I had a Bronco, and you know, you kind of go with what you know. Anyhow, that's what I did here. So back to the story. So we're going to pop the spring and pull the float out with the needle. Don't lose the needle. And then, crap, hang on. We're going to get a big screwdriver. Or before we do that, we'll pull off the booster venturis here, and this is where the Ford and the Holleys are different. It's these suckers are huge booster venturis, and I happen to have a 350 CFM Holley 2-barrel, and you can see the difference right there. I mean, it's pretty substantial. My belief, from what I've heard, is the Ford has better fuel atomization, and therefore it's a more efficient carburetor. I'm hoping that's true. Anyhow, we'll set you there, and then you got the little weight pin and that little ball for a check valve. Do not lose that little ball. But then you got the jets, and what we're going to do here, we're going to pop these guys out. They happen to be 54s. That's pretty small. Now, the more you disassemble it, the better, because you're going to get chips and stuff all over the place here, and you can't have that. I'm just going to say you can't have that, because some little thing's going to go in there in the passageway, clog it up, you'll fall flat on your face. I had a slight little piece of silicone gasket, or rubber, get down in the jet, and the thing fell flat on its face, and it tear it apart on the side of the road, and just pull that little guy out, and then it ran great again. But it's just one of those things. So what I'm going to do, because the power valve is here, and I know I'm going to get chips and stuff down there, I'm just going to take the power valve out, and that way I won't get anything in there. Plus, when it comes time to do the final clean on it, I'll be able to spray it down and blow it out and make sure everybody's in good shape that way. Alright, stay that way then. So, pull that out, and one more time. So, that guy comes out with the gasket. Stay right there. And we get a 1-inch wrench. And it's the same thing for Holleys, because it's the same guy. It doesn't have to be cranked in very large. Just a 1-inch wrench is huge. And we're going to pull this little guy out, which has no numbers. So we have no idea what the vacuum is on this guy. I thought there was. Yeah, there's something. It says, oh, this is 7.5. Okay, not a bad power valve. That's, as I said, something that has to be adjusted with weight of the vehicle and all that other fun stuff that you're going to go through. So what I'm going to do is blow out the passages, and since that's over there, I'm going to shut this off and come right back. Okay, next, after it's good and dry, I'm going to take a pair of sacrificial jets here, and you know, they can be any number or whatever, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to use some red Loctite, the good stuff, and put some on the threads. Get her all the way around here. Yep. Pop that guy in. Come on. And crank her down good. Come on. And then I'm going to let her set for a while until that hardens up and makes a permanent. Get in there. Get in there. Yeah. Makes a permanent seal. So I'm going to take a break for a little bit, and we'll come back after that's done, show you the rest. So while that's setting up, I'll show you a couple things. Most important is these threads are not a normal thread. They're, well, in the case of the Holley, it's a 1/4 32. It's also a 32 on the Ford. We're not using it anymore, it doesn't matter. This is your standard fine thread tap, which is a 1/4 28, and you probably can't see it on the video, but anyhow, that's 28, that's a 32. Minor difference, but you can't tap it with a 28 unless you want your jets to be permanent and you jam them in there, but that's not what we're doing here. Okay, this, luckily enough for me, says 732 drill. Normally you use a number 3 on this. 732 is just a hair bigger, and if that's what they say it takes, that's what they say it takes. This doesn't have to be a special tap. As far as material, it doesn't have to be cobalt M2 or any the other trick stuff. If you're just tapping brass, you're only going to do it a couple times. So if you go into auto parts store or something like that, they're going to look at you funny and say, no, they don't make that. So I bought this either off Amazon or eBay. It only ran like $8 or whatever, free shipping. So get yourself a 1/4 32 National Extra Fine tap and have that handy. A trick on the drill. I don't know if you drill brass or, well, especially brass. Brass is really grabby, and if you use a normal drill, it's going to want to screw itself in, and it really makes a mess and destroys everything. So what you do is a trick called dubbing, and you hold this up against the grinding wheel, and you just kind of make a flat on there, so it's more of a scrape than a cut. And that works really good, and it kind of scrapes its way through and doesn't grab, but you still get the hole. Also good for plastics. If you're drilling plexiglass or something like that, it's a good trick to know for that. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to let that set a little longer. It's almost lunchtime, so what the heck. After lunch I'll come back and we'll do the damage on this guy and be good to go. Okay, lunchtime's over, and hopefully the red Loctite is set up good enough here, so I'm going to proceed to drill it out with the drill press, and hopefully see, that's part of our grabbing problem. It's pretty good. Yeah, even with the dub, it kind of grabs, but anyhow, get her drilled out, and got that part done, so everything looks good. Yeah, everything looks good in there. So we'll blow it out just for fun, and then we'll proceed to tap it. Something I noticed is these are the power valve metering holes. There's little bitty brass inserts in there. Well, they actually come in on the bottom, and so when you're drilling, don't drill too deep or you nick it like I did on this one. No permanent damage, but probably not something I want to do every day. So just be aware when you finally do break through, that's it. Don't mess with it, just kind of okie dokie, and you're done with that. So now we're going to proceed to run the tap through. Make sure you get the right one here, and anyhow, put some threads in there and see how it goes. Okay, so I did one, and I come across a couple little problems here. But that was kind of the practice one, so I'll show you what I'm doing, and that way if it screws up again, I'll kind of walk you through the possible problems you can have, and then we'll fix it appropriately. Okay, so I'll throw some Magic Whiz on the tap, and come on, you. Be afraid to use that shit. Yeah. Just start running your tap in here. Come on, you. Just work it in here carefully. Okay, yeah, that's what happens. And what I didn't do is let the Loctite sit long enough, so it's a little loose. Oh, crap, that didn't work either. Alright, let's try it again. Yeah. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're actually going to break the top of the jet off because it's so thin, the difference. And that's okay, because you kind of want it to break off. What I'm going to do, hang on to a pair of pliers and finish tapping that guy thoroughly and actually run it up the tap. We're going to need it again, and then I'm going to come on. There we are. This little guy, this is all we have left. And it's almost nothing. So, I know this buggers up the threads, but carefully, I'm going to tap in here and finish getting this guy threaded completely. There we go. Okay. Okay. There. Well, I broke that one. Damn it. Well, I guess I get to start all over again. It's nice to have more than one jet handy. The other one didn't do too bad, but this one, it's in the exact science, folks. I could probably, if the person really wanted to do it, hog that sucker out to maybe like a 3/8 and put a plug in there and then drill the plug. But we are going to start again. Actually, from a previous attempt, I happen to have one. Okay, so let's pretend that I did it all over, or started it again. And drilled it out and tapped it and broke it off, and then got the remaining little bitty piece. There we go. And that is just almost paper thin there. Okay. So you'll see I buggered up the threads with the pliers, but they'll still go in. Everything's kind of soft and it'll conform. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blow things out here while I got this mess going. Okay. So I'm going to take the broken off piece and thread it back on. actually. I'm going to thread it on. Wow, I'm going to thread it on. Eventually. There it is. Okay. So I got that. I got my little insert here. And I'm actually going to turn it upside down because the bottom is nice and flush. Not quite as jagged as the broken off piece. And that guy is going to go. And the two are going to jam against each other. Just perfectly fine. And what the hell do I do with that? Put it back there. I'm going to do the red Loctite again. Someday it'll seize up. And then I'll run her in the hole. Get it fairly flush, and then remove the tap, and we were good. Okay, so that's our little inserts in here that are going to do the trick eventually. Okay. Oh, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean it, and I'm going to clean it like it's never been cleaned before. I got, the carb cleaner and compressed air and just let her rip. Okay, so the carb came with 54 jets, and I have a number 56 drill that is a pretty decent fit, just a hair loose. The number 55 drill is too fat to fit in there. But with the Holley here, I've got a 62 jet, and that is a good fit on the 55 drill. So it's just that much bigger. At least it gives me a baseline to go to. So I'm going to run the 62s, richen it just a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. And I can go plus or minus from that point. And they just fit right in here. Ah, yeah. Come on, guys. It's always such a thrill getting these guys in. Let's see where this stuff goes. Okay, so now we got the Holley jets in there, and I can change and play with those guys, and they're readily available in all kinds of sizes and colors and stuff. So now it's basically just reassemble the unit and slap it on and see how she works. So wasn't the easiest thing. There are, a few little glitches here, but hey, it might do the trick, and anyhow, at least now you can tune the thing with, without being stuck with whatever jets you happen to find at the junkyard. So, okay, there we are.